students. How are you? I hope you are all safe at your home. Myself, Mrs. Kanak Udasi, Social Science teacher in Holy Hearts Educational Academy, Raipur, is back again with new topic of history, class 7th. Today, my topic is Chapter 3, the Delhi Sultanate. Students, as I have discussed with you that during the early medieval period, Indian dynasties that ruled over India are mostly of the Hindu origin, and these were overtaken by the Muslim conquerors in the later medieval period. So, in this chapter we will discuss about the kings and kingdoms of later medieval period. We will discuss about how this Hindu dynasty came to an end, how the Muslim conqueror invaded India, how they established their rule under the heading the Delhi Sultanate. Now, the question arises that why the Delhi Sultanate? Because Sultanate is an empire which is ruled by the many dynasties, taking their capital as the Delhi. So, these are the kings and kingdoms which ruled over Indian subcontinent or Muslim conquerors, which make their capital as Delhi, or we can say Delhi is the most important administrative as well as religious center during that time. Hence, this chapter came under the title the Delhi Sultanate. Now, we will look at this chart to understand the Delhi Sultanate better. Delhi Sultanate. Now, how the Delhi Sultanate emerges in the Indian subcontinent. Around the 12th century, one of the ruler of Ghor in Afghanistan had conquered Indian subcontinent. He was of the Ghorid dynasty in Afghanistan. Now, question must arises in your mind that why he invaded India and who was Muhammad Ghori, how he came to be known that India is the attraction of the wealth and prestigious during that time. So, the answer is Mahmud Ghazni. As I have told you students that Mahmud Ghazni had plundered the India 17 times and taken lot of wealth every time. So, this was fascinated the another Afghan ruler Muhammad Ghori, and he came and invaded India. He was succeeded in occupying Punjab and Sindh, and at that time Prithviraj Chauhan also wanted to conquer Punjab and Sindh, and this led to the battle between both Muhammad Ghori and Prithviraj Chauhan. The battle was happened at the Battle of Tarin near Delhi. In the first battle, Prithviraj Chauhan succeeded, but after a year, Muhammad Ghori again had done the battle with the Prithviraj Chauhan, that is known as the Second Battle of Tarin in 1192. At this time, Prithviraj Chauhan was defeated, and this led to the invasion of Muhammad Ghori in India. Muhammad Ghori went back in Ghor dynasty to look after the Ghor dynasty in Afghanistan, but he gave in charge of his Turkish territories to his governor Qutb Uddin Ibak, who was the slave, Ghori's slave. In year 1206, after the death of Muhammad Ghori, Qutb-ud-Din Ibak proclaimed himself as the ruler of Turkish territories. He took the title of Sultan and made Delhi as his capital. This finally led to the establishment of slave dynasty, the first dynasty of the Delhi Sultanate. The second dynasty was Khalji dynasty, and the third was Tughlaq dynasty. All the three dynasties was of Turkish origin, and Sayyid and Lodi dynasty was of the Afghanis origin. So, this led to the finally invention of the Muslim conquerors in the Indian subcontinent. Now, we will learn about the first dynasty, that is the slave dynasty. Slave or Mamluk dynasty. Slave or Mamluk dynasty had ruled from 1206 to 1290 AD in India. The founder was Qutb Uddin Aibak slave. Students, you have heard about the famous Qutub Minar situated in Delhi. That was the monument which was built by the Qutb Uddin Aibak of the slave dynasty. Qutb-ud-Din Aibak was the powerful ruler and strengthened his position by being generous. He was very kind-hearted ruler. That's why the title was given to him Lakh Baksh. He was very fond of architecture. As I have told you, he had built the Qutub Minar. He had also built the oldest mosque in India, that is Kuwaitul Islam Masjid. He was succeeded by his son-in-law Iltutmish. Iltutmish was one of the most powerful ruler of the slave dynasty. He recovered most of the territories which was not able to conquer by the Qutb-ud-Din Aibak. But he was always suppressed by the rebellions because of his powerful army and the successful activities to rule and expand over the kingdom. He was succeeded by his daughter Razia, who ruled over India from 1236 till 1240 AD. Razia was the first woman ruler as queen who had ruled over the Indian subcontinent. Students, as you know, at that time the Indian society was the patriarchal. So it was unable to hold for most of the nobles and the rulers of the Iltutmish rule, that being to accept Razia as the queen. Therefore, she was conspired and finally murdered in 1240. After Razia, many of the weak ruler arises in the slave dynasty, and finally those weak ruler was succeeded by one more powerful ruler of the slave dynasty, that is Ghiyasuddin Balban, who ruled from 1266 to 1287. He was also the powerful ruler of the slave dynasty and ruled with the most of the activities or the policies which was overtaken by the Iltutmish. He finally died in 1287. After 1287, the rulers have ruled till 1290 as under the title of slave dynasty, and finally the slave dynasty came to an end, which gave rise to the next dynasty, the Khalji dynasty. Khalji dynasty ruled from 1290 to 1320 AD. The founder was Jalaluddin Khalji. Jalaluddin Khalji was also the clan of the slave dynasty. Means he was also belonged to the some subdivision of the caste from the slave dynasty. He is Khalji dynasty's ruler are also of the Turkish origin. Jalaluddin Khalji was murdered by his nephew Alauddin Khalji. Alauddin Khalji was the most powerful ruler of the Khalji dynasty. He ruled from 1296 to 1316 AD. He was one of the most important ruler and having the successful policies to rule and expand the kingdom to the utmost extent towards in all the directions of the Indian subcontinent. He got success also. He conquered most part of the Deccan. He with the help of his commander Malik Kafur, to bring rich kingdoms of Devanagari, Warangal and Pandyas under his expansion. He also able to conquer Gujarat, Malwa, Ujjain, Mewar and Chanderi. We can say that for a brief period only, but Alauddin Khalji is able to rule over the whole India. Now, the next Khalji ruler was Qutbuddin Mubarak Khalji, that ruled from 1316 to 1320 AD. He was the last or the weakest ruler of the Khalji dynasty. He was also murdered by his wazir. So, we can see that the powerful rulers of the Khalji dynasties are Jalaluddin Khalji and Alauddin Khalji. And we can say that who is the most powerful? So, the answer is Alauddin Khalji. Students, Alauddin Khalji has the name you had also heard in the movie Padmavat. Alauddin Khalji is most powerful Khalji ruler, and he had able to conquer most of the Rajput kingdoms, that is Malwa, Gujarat and Mewar, just because of also in your syllabus. So you will able to learn more about the Alauddin Khalji. I hope the Khalji dynasty is clear to you. In the next video we will learn about the next three dynasty. Till then, you take care, stay home, stay safe.